Hola guys and girls, and welcome to the next top 5 Commons Keyforge video, and this we are gonna look at the house Untamed. So yeah, standard introduction for this kind of video. If you watched all the others, you're a bit tired of that, for all which yeah, step in as the first video of this series of mine. Yeah, why I'm looking only at the comments, because first of all, general top 5 or top 10 lists for like all kinds of houses or general Keyforge cards. You can find a dozen in on YouTube right here. So to make something different, I decided to just look at the comments, and I decided for the comments from the 4 rarities, since these are the cards you're gonna encounter the most. They are the most common, like the name already suggests. These are the cards you will find the most in your decks. You will play against these the most. You will play these the most while playing Keyforge. So yeah, I decided to look at only those, since if you have a good overview, what are the best in each house of that, you yeah, you overall could be better at judging decks, since yeah, these are the majority of the deck, like I already mentioned. But yeah, this time we are going to look at Untamed, and of course Untamed is known for its Aember burst, so there are going to be a few cards which are going to focus on that. But yeah, let's just hop right in with the number 5 spot, which is the action card introduced in Worlds Collide, which is the Unnatural Selection. Gives you an extra Aember and has the play effect: choose 2 friendly creatures and 2 enemy creatures, destroy each other creature. So it is like a pseudo kind of board wipe, which really only comes into play when your opponent has more than 3 creatures. But I still love the card for that, since the boards in Worlds Collide got pretty huge, and yeah, Untamed struggled with huge opponents' boards. So they couldn't really do too much about that. They had like the Everywhere from Age of Ascension, that only does 2 or 1 damage. So if bigger creatures or creatures with armor, you're kind of screwed there. And Unnatural Selection is a very nice board wipe, since especially if you both have huge boards or big boards, this card can still be played without hurting you too much, since basically choose the 3 opponent's worst creatures and your best creatures, and the rest dies. And then you obviously have the board advantage, since your opponent has worse creatures than you. And yeah, that's why I like this card a lot. It gives you an Aember as well, so it is a board wipe which you can sometimes play for free as well. It's like gateway to this, you can never play if you don't want to play it, since you would get rid of everything. But like, let's say you have a small board, opponent has a small board, you can just play it for the Aember and nothing happens. So yeah, it's a bit more flexible there in gaining the extra Aember for that. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Unnatural Selection. Helped me in a lot of dire matchups where the opponent was very ahead on the board. And yeah, just play Unnatural Selection, boom, you only have 3 left. I have 3 left as well, but mine are better. So yeah, that's basically how this card works, and that's why I have it at the number 5 spot from the comments of Untamed. Now looking at the number 4 spot, we have our first creature. It is introduced in Worlds Collide as well, and it is the Imprinted Murmok. 3 power creature, beast, elusive, and the effect: your key costs -1. This is one of the 3 Murmoks introduced so far in the Keyforge universe, and I think he is the best one. At least he's the best for you, since first of all, he has the elusive tag, which has the standard other Murmok not, which makes the key cost 1 more for the opponent. So it is a bit better there, and it makes the key cost 1 less with the Aember Rush or Aember Burst, which Untamed has. This is a very strong effect, especially combined with stuff like Key Charge, which is a very likely card to have in Untamed. Together with the Imprinted Murmok, you're just very likely to yeah, have enough Aember soon, play your key cheat, and go from there. And yeah, just in general, especially if you have more of these on the board, this card gets insane. Like if you have 3 of those on the board and your key costs only 3, your opponent will have to deal with that very soon. Otherwise, he will not win the game, since for one, Untamed is very good at raising Aember, and second, if your key costs even less, then you're just that much better at it. So yeah, that's why the Imprinted Murmok is here. He counters a little bit all the making keys more expensive cards we got in Worlds Collide introduced, which is the best counter to Aember Rush decks. And this is like kind of a pseudo small counter. Of course, it's not as strong, but yeah, that makes sense. Otherwise, Aember Rush would be insanely good. But yeah, that's Imprinted Murmok for you on place number 4. Now looking at the place number 3 spot, now we have our first Aember Burst card, and this card is none other than the Dust Pixie. Yeah, introduced in Call of the Archons, a pretty, yeah, not very impressive creature with 1 power, a fairy, no effect at all, but what it has are the 2 extra Aember blips on the top left. So you just play it and you gain 2 Aember, and boom, that's all the effect. But it's still very nice, since it's like unconditional. With Fluxia, you have to have more creatures and stuff like that. It doesn't give Aember to your opponent. And most of the time, since it's only a 1-power creature on the field, the opponent might ignore it for a long time, and that enables like all of the bounce effects, like be it Call of Nature or similar stuff. You get it back to hand, you can play it again, you get additional Aember, and yeah, you just keep generating out of this. You can archive this, play it again. Like I said, since it's just such a small creature, the opponent usually ignores it on the field, and if that's the case, you can still reap with it and stuff like that. It gives you a body to do stuff. Maybe get rid of elusive tags and stuff like that. But yeah, that is Dust Pixie for you. Very straightforward card. It got a bit, like, I don't know, nerfed really, but in the competitive scene, maybe since stuff like Infernus now exists, and he is pretty common, especially if you play in tournaments and stuff like that. There are a good amount of Infernus decks running around. And yeah, Infernus lost if you have stuff like Dust Pixie in your graveyard, since you lose to Aember and you get to purge it. But still, I think it deserved the number 3 spot right here, since it's basically what Untamed does in one card. It's just playing cards and gaining Aember immediately. And yeah, that's the Dust Pixie for you. Next up, we are gonna look at another creature, another 1-power creature, another fairy in Untamed. At the number 2 spot, I gave to Glimmer. Introduced in Age of Ascension, like I mentioned, 1-2-power fairy creature with the keyword Alpha. So that's a bit of nerf, but a very nice play effect, which is return a card from your discard pile to your hand. So you just play it and you get a card back. The Alpha tag is obviously there, so it tries to prevent what the Lance combo basically was with Nefanta Seed and Library Access or something similar. Basically, what the game designer didn't want is that you play a card and it gets to a discard pile and then you play Glimmer and you get to play it again. With this, you can make sure you have to play it first, you just get a card back, but still, it's an awesome effect, very flexible. Of course, you can just get an Untamed card back, which just on discard pile, play it again immediately, or like get a key card from a different house back to your hand, so you can play it next turn. And since it's a play effect, it works well with all the bouncing which is going around as well. You can just bounce this card, play it again. Of course not in the same turn, since you can't play 2 of them in the same turn because of the Alpha tag. But yeah, very flexible card. Like all this resurrecting stuff is awesome. Be it Witch of the Eye, be it with Nefanta Seed, be it with Glimmer. Sadly, only Glimmer is a common out of those 3. That's why this card is right here. And it's the only immediate effect. Like, Nefanta Seed has to sit a turn, Witch of the Eye has to sit a turn and actually survive, which is very unlikely. But Glimmer, you just play it, boom, you get the card back and go on from there. And yeah, that's why I have this card at the number 2 spot. And now looking at the final number 1 spot, it is once again a creature. It has double the power though. It is introduced in Call of the Archons, is the Hunting Witch, which is a big impact creature the opponent has to immediately get rid of. If you play the Hunting Witch, like you want to play it with different creatures as well, like play Hunting Witch and then you play few creatures. But yeah, I didn't even go over all the cards. It's human witch creature with the effect, each time you play another creature, gain 1 Aember. And yeah, I just think that is the best Untamed common, especially with multiple of this in one copy. I might be a bit biased there, since one very strong deck I own myself has triple Hunting Witch. And it's just insane how well this deck can go off. You need to have a good amount of creatures, especially in Untamed, since you want to play in the same turn, barring you have some kind of house cheating going on. But if you have like Hunting Witch and a few other creatures, you have like such a nice Aember burst in one turn. And yeah, potentially even for more turns if your opponent can't get rid of it for some reason. Like if you can manage to protect this thing, it's just insane how much value this thing can generate you. But since it's only 2 power with no protective effect, be it like no hazardous, no elusive, it's just a 2 power plain creature. The opponent will force this down very quickly. But if he doesn't manage to do that, this card is insane. And even without this card, like I said, you need to have the proper hand for this. But if you do, this card can be insanely good. And yeah, just it's one of the main reasons why all the Aember Rush shenanigans from Untamed got so strong. Especially Call of the Archons with the first set, where Hunting Witch was introduced and stuff like Dust Pixie. Like Untamed was without a doubt one of the strongest houses. Probably the second strongest after Logos. Because Aember Rush was everywhere. Aember Rush was the thing in Call of the Archons, and yeah, it got a bit nerfed throughout the next sets, but still I think Hunting Witch is a very strong creature. And yeah, maybe not for everyone deserving at the number 1 spot, I can see that going, but for me it definitely deserves the number 1 spot. And yeah, since I didn't mention at the beginning, this list is only comprised of my own opinion. I didn't look at any metrics. This is my experience playing with them and against them, and seeing that, I think Hunting Witch is the best common you can get out of Untamed in the current rotation of Worlds Collide, Age of Ascension, and Call of the Archons. We will see what Mass Mutation can bring to us, but yeah, we'll see. I have to probably update a lot of these lists after Mass Mutation drops. Very excited for that. But yeah, that is all for this video. If you, of course, did enjoy, leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Hit me on Twitter and Facebook. All the links in the description. And of course, let me know your opinions in the comments down below. Do you agree with my top 10? Do we have different idea? Did I swap some plays around? Did I forget a card completely? Let me know in the comments. Like, there are a lot of Untamed is a pretty good house throughout. Like, maybe not in Worlds Collide, it's not as strong anymore, even though 2 cards made it into the list. But before, Untamed was a very strong house, especially in Call of the Archons. So there are a lot of good cards you can find there. So I'm sure there's something I forgot. But yeah, that's all from me. I will see you another time. Ciao.